looked over the notes for Chapter 1. You've reviewed the lecture videos. You should be ready to start into the homework. And what we always do is we start with this learning quiz. I will go through the answers as you get the homework quiz yourself. Your questions may be slightly different or they might be the same, but watch carefully. Um, so I'm going to go through this. It gives us a few questions just to kind of get us started. So first of all, our first question is to determine whether the value is a parameter or a statistic. Remember, hopefully, the way we talk, we know something is a parameter if it comes from a population, P for P. And it's a statistic if it comes from a sample, S for S. Okay, that's kind of how we tell these things. 2/3 of the population of students in a class are women. So since it is talking about a population, I'm going to go with parameter. Now, occasionally I could even get these wrong. They might say, well, it's just a class of women, so that's a sample. But when you use the word population in a statistics class, it means population, that is all the, that is what you are interested in. The population of interest is this class. Okay, so I'm going to check my answer and let's see if we're right. Yes, we are. Okay, I'll clear out my markings. The next question. So these are sometimes a little difficult to do. They may change the orders on us, but they also can be helpful. Which of the following are categorical or qualitative variables? So remember, they would not have numerical values. They go into a category. And in this case, we'll check all that we can do, all that are correct. Weight in pounds. Now that is a number. You measure that number of pounds by a number. Temperature in Celsius. That is also a number. It's measured it's a measurement in numbers. Habits on an always, sometimes, never scale. Now, these are categories. You either always do something, sometimes never. These are not numerical. So that's definitely. Gender, you're male, female, binary, non binary, um, however you identify, but you're putting yourself into a category. Or you choose not to be in a category, I guess. Number of traffic tickets, number. So that's a number. It's not a category. You could put these into groups like those who have 1 to 5 tickets and so forth. But as far as this is a quantitative, a numerical value. Your favorite candy bar, that's going to have a name. That is going to be a category, not a number. Um, Even like something like the $1,000,000 bar, or isn't $100,000 bar that used to be, but that's a name, not a number. Wage per hour, that is also a number, so that's not going to be it. Age in years is a number, it's numerical data. Your letter grade, although we convert these into numbers, as they stand, they are categories. You've got an A, B, and C, and they each represent different things. A is supposed to be excellent, um, B is supposed to be very good or good, and C is like average, and D and F, well, we don't need to talk about those. Um, but that's what we would go with. Let's see if I get it all right. And I did. Now, sometimes you'll go through this and maybe you chose one of these, so you can answer these multiple times. Um, and then you can always, uh, if you need to do it again, uh, do a complete start. In a study, the sample is chosen by separating all cars by size and selecting 10 of each size grouping. What kind of sampling method is this? Um, so you first stratified, right? You're putting them into different categories by size, so small, medium, large, or SUV, however you label them, but they're in different strata. And then from that, you take 10 of each of those strata. So that is a stratified sample. What would make it a cluster sample is if you put them into these, separate them from size, and then you took all of the cars from one size. Cluster is more about location of things, and then you would take it the whole cluster. Stratified, you break them into groups, and then you choose some from each group. Okay. A little slow, but I'm still correct. Uh, 4. Does this describe an observational study or an experiment? Remember the difference here. We'll take a look. But observational study, you just observe, you watch, you look. Just put look. Experiment, you do something, action. Okay, so let's see. Is the eye color of people attending a sporting event were recorded. They're just looking at it, right? They're not changing or trying to attempt to change the eye color of people. So this is an observational study, just recording what kind of data is out there. Nothing being done, no treatment. Okay, so that's the thing. Experiment, you're going to look for some kind of a treatment, something, some action is being taken to try to influence something, whereas observational studies, just that. Look, see, and record. Question 5, which source of bias is most relevant to the following situation? So you want to kind of review all the different types, but let's go through this and see if we can pick out what kind of bias here. A research study funded by an avowed atheist. Where's the money coming from? Tell you what, right now, it's probably a funding type thing. Finds that over 95% of college biology professors refuse to teach creationism. Is that correct or not? Well, because they're an atheist, they probably would not like creationism. So this is what we would call a self-interest study. Maybe he just called the friends that he had, and that's how he gets 95% of college biology professors. So that is definitely a self-interest study because of who is funding the study. So that self-interest has to do with the funding. And there's an interest of the funder to come up with certain results. All right, so let's check that answer. Yeah, let's see how many more. That's it. That's all the questions to kind of get us started. You'll see as you work through the homework, you'll have more questions than this, 20, 30 usually. Go through them and then you'll build an understanding. Sometimes there's resources. You can click on videos. There's Ask the Professor links in there. So but this is how it'll work. You go through each one. But the next thing to do before you go on to the homework, do the homework quiz. You'll get 5 very similar questions. You might even get exactly the same questions. But kind of go through it now and see how you can, how you do. All right. Thank you.